Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about one of the most fascinating events in the history of money, the change from gold as a method of payment to the dollar. This change had a huge impact on the world, shaping the economy and financial systems as we know it today. In the beginning, gold was the king of currency. For centuries, gold coins were the most commonly used form of money. People trusted gold as a store of value, and it was widely accepted as a method of payment. But as economies grew, gold became increasingly cumbersome to use. It was heavy, difficult to transport, and the value of gold varied greatly from one region to another. So, how did we go from a gold-based system to the dollar-based system we know today? Let's explore the journey of how the US took the lead in changing the world's monetary system, with a powerful opening hook. Imagine a world where gold was the only currency, where gold coins clinked in people's pockets, and gold banks. This was the reality for centuries, but it all changed with a single decision by the United States. The abandonment of the gold standard. The United States was the first country to abandon the gold standard. This change was prompted by the Great Depression, when the economy was in dire straits and the government needed a way to stimulate growth. In 1933, President Roosevelt signed the Gold Reserve Act, which effectively ended the practice of exchanging paper money for gold. This was a bold move, and it was met with resistance from some quarters. But the US government stuck to its guns, and the results were impressive. The emergence of the dollar as the reserve currency. With the abandonment of the gold standard, the US dollar became the dominant reserve currency. This meant that other countries started to hold dollars as their primary reserve currency, instead of gold. This was a huge shift, as it gave the US a great deal of economic power. The dollar became the currency of international trade, and it became the benchmark for other currencies. Think about it, the United States went from being just one of many countries using the gold standard, to being the leader of the world's monetary system. How did this happen? The answer is simple: confidence. The rest of the world had confidence in the stability of the US economy, and in the strength of the US dollar. The Bretton Woods Agreement. The Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944 solidified the role of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. At this historic meeting, the world's leading economies gathered to agree on a new monetary system, one that would help ensure stability and growth in the aftermath of World War II. The agreement established the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, and it pegged the value of other currencies to the US dollar. This meant that other countries could only change the value of their currencies in relation to the US dollar, and that the US dollar was the only currency that could be exchanged for gold. It's hard to overstate the significance of the Bretton Woods Agreement. It cemented the US dollar as the dominant currency in the world, and it created a new monetary system that would shape the global economy for decades to come. But how did the US convince the rest of the world to go along with this plan? The answer lies in the US economy. The US was the only major economy that emerged from World War II unscathed, and its economy was booming. The rest of the world saw the strength of the US economy, and they trusted that the US dollar would be a stable currency. The end of the convertibility of the US dollar to gold. The convertibility of the US dollar to gold was officially ended in 1971, when President Nixon suspended the ability to exchange dollars for gold. This marked the final step in the transition from a gold-based monetary system to a dollar-based monetary system. This was a seismic shift in the world's monetary system, and it changed the way we think about money forever. The US dollar was now just another fiat currency, backed not by gold, but by the faith and credit of the US government. The world would never be the same again. In conclusion, the change from gold to the dollar as a method of payment was a slow and gradual process, but it had a profound impact on the world. The US dollar became the dominant currency, and the world's monetary system was shaped by the decisions made by the US government. This is a story of power, of confidence, and of the changing nature of money. It's a story that shows us how our monetary system has evolved, and how it will continue to evolve in the future. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the history of money. I hope you learned something new, and I look forward to exploring more fascinating topics with you in the future. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.